to Destination Deanna. I'm Deanna, love guide to all and kept wife strategist to the women I'm called to serve. Please consider my channel your self-help learning library for love. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for our weekly coaching gem, where I give guidance to elevate your love experience. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., tune in for Sounds About Wife, where I give my unique wife perspective and prepare professional women like you to become kept wives. So hit that subscribe button and let's start this love journey together. See you soon, my loves. Hello, welcome to Destination Deanna, aka the KeepHer. Hold on, let me see. Let me adjust. Let me get my camera together. So, welcome to. Ooh, where is that coming from? Okay. Welcome to this episode of Sounds About Wife. We are on episode 25, affectionately titled, Is Your Masculine Mask Keeping You Single? So, listen, I have been a coach for a decade now. And for the past, I would say probably 3 to 4 years, I've been primarily working with high achieving women, right? And working with them has shown me one thing over and over again. And that is that many of them are unintentionally wearing a masculine mask. And honestly, they have no idea that this is happening. They've mastered survival. They've built successful businesses. They've raised kids. They've managed everything. But when it comes to love, they are still performing, right? They're still leading. They're still doing. And it's quietly repelling the very type of man that they say they want. And here in the KeepHer, we call them keepers, right? Genuine providers, men of God that are also, not just high value, they're high character, men of integrity, right? So what I've learned about these women is they aren't bitter and they're not broken either, even though society or commoners try to perpetuate that. Actually, they're pretty brilliant, right? But they've been taught that in order to be safe, they need to be strong, right? That in order to be chosen, they have to actually prove their worth. And what happens is I come along, I coach them into softness, right? And I help them release control so they're able to receive love from a more rested place. And I promise you, it's like watching the walls fall down and divine alignment begin, right? So this lesson today really matters because the right man can't lead you if you're too busy auditioning for his job or competing with him, right? And let me just tell you, the good ones, the keepers, they don't want to fight you for control, right? They're not fighting to take the steering wheel, right? They want to cover you. But you have to give them the space to show up like that. And speaking of space, if you didn't catch my spring cleaning series, it's a 3-day series that I've been doing since Monday, where I actually talked about decluttering your space, your mind, and your life in general, and making room for the men that y'all say y'all want. please go back and check out that playlist, right? I have a complete playlist, the Spring Clean Your Dating Life. It's 3 videos. Go back and check that out. Now, on to today's treasure, right? Which is our core lesson, why it matters, right? I am going to review 3 points today. So if you are a note taker, we say note takers are money makers. And here in the KeepHer, they are action takers. So take your notes now. The first point I want to cover is masculine presentation repels masculine men. So keepers, are quality men, genuine providers who lead and love deeply. They are looking for feminine energy that complements their masculinity, right? So if you are leading, if you're asserting, if you're dominating, if you're controlling, or you're just constantly doing, you are unknowingly communicating that you don't need or desire masculine leadership. So say what you want to say about this, right? I'm letting you know now. If you constantly got to be the one making the plans, if you are needing to be in control, you need every single detail, you need to be involved in everything, you need to be doing, your calendar is booked and busy. If that is you, that's masculine energy, and it repels the quality masculine men. Excuse me. The scripture tells us in Proverbs 14:1, a wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. This verse basically shows the power women have to either create or destroy. When we take on masculine roles, that's outside of alignment, right? We actually dismantle the very thing that we say we desire, right? And statistically, according to the Institute of Family Studies, 68% of high earning men prefer a woman who values support, softness, and partnership over independence and dominance. So think about what you want and think about how you are presenting yourself, okay? Masculine keepers aren't intimidated by success. Stop saying this. This is an excuse for you to show up masculine, right? They're actually just repelled by a woman who insists on leading where she's actually meant to receive. You got to leave room for them to lead. Number 2, masculine energy is often rooted in fear or past survival. This is so important for me to touch upon. And I see a comment. Let me get to that because I'm going to spend some time here. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. Did you hear my message? I left you a message before I went live. That's my baby. He's always here supporting. I love you. Thank you, honey. So number 2, masculine energy is often rooted in fear or past survival. This is important to mention. Look at that. My honey said a woman leading with the masculine doesn't even sound right. Doesn't even sound right. Doesn't even align with what we say we want. So this is so important for me to mention because most women aren't choosing to lead in masculine energy. Let me just say that, right? They've been conditioned to, right? It's not a choice. They've been conditioned to, right? Trauma, being raised to be strong, or having to handle everything alone creates a default survival mode. So let's just say that, right? Let me honor the women that have not had a safe space to be soft. Let me honor the women that have been in relationships where they could not depend on their partner, where they felt obligated to show up in a dominant masculine role. But now that we've honored that, now that we have put it out there and we've said that this is normally the reason, right? It's rooted in fear or past survival. We're responsible for changing it, right? We can't just acknowledge this and then leave it. It does not serve you, right? In our scripture, Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Stillness is feminine. Trust is feminine. Constant doing, pushing, fixing, that's all fear. Faith, softness, and receptivity are the gateway to divine alignment. And you need divine alignment in order to attract a masculine man. Okay? Now, statistically, Psychology Today found that women with unresolved relationship trauma are 3 times more likely to operate in controlling behavior patterns in new relationships. And I know this to be true because it impacted me. I definitely was showing up like I got me. No, I'm not relinquishing anything to anybody because they're not going to handle it like me. I know I got me. I know I'll take care of it. I know it'll be done to my liking if I do it. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting. You know, it took my keeper husband telling me, like, baby, you don't got to do that. Like, I got this. And when he said, I got this, he proved it, right? He showed up consistently. And I began to relinquish that control, right? And I began to trust I've chosen well this time, right? I'm honoring myself so I can honor my choices. I trust them. And it allowed me to trust him more. So it's so important because if you don't heal the why behind your masculine mask, it's going to just keep repelling the very love that you're praying for. So you need to put attention on this. Okay? Don't just accept that you've shown up this way. Don't accept the fact that we're acknowledging it's usually rooted in fear or past survival. You still have to change it. Okay? Oh, you're welcome, honey. Hey, Nicole. Nicole is on it today. Okay, she subscribed to my Facebook page. She raised her hand and said, give me my journal. Like, Nicole is on it, and she's here on the live. Hey, Nicole. What does leaving room for a man to lead mean or look like? Can you give an example? I just want to check myself. So, this is an entire lesson, right? So I'm going to try to make this brief so that I don't like get off of topic because I could say a lot about this. Leaving room for a man to lead could be as simple as leaving things for him to do, right? Men are problem solvers. If you are doing everything, there's nothing for him to do. So it could start with the simplest things, like allowing him to open your door. If you haven't done that in the past, don't get in the car. Just don't get in. Just stand outside. And when he looks at you crazy because he's not used to you doing that, just say, oh, I was waiting for you to open my door, honey. Then he'll start opening your door. And if he doesn't, just stand there. It'll get awkward. He'll do something about it because they solve problems, right? The trash, let him take it out. Like little things. Start there. Start allowing him to help you, right? Allowing him to help you. Asking for his advice. Asking, what does he think? From the smallest thing. What do you think about this outfit, honey? Babe, you know, I was planning this type of thing for dinner. What do you think? I'm assuming. I'm assuming people are married already. And in the single case, you can do the car, but also you can just ask, if it's a person you're dating or whatever, ask their opinion about things. Right? It lets them know that you value their opinion. They'll start to, give that more. Give things for him to solve. When you have problems, bring them to him. That's how you leave room for them to lead. Don't lead. Right? You don't want him to lead. Don't lead. Don't plan. Don't answer everything. Don't figure out everything. Like, leave stuff for him to do. I hope that helps. And Keisha, what if your why is rooted in the things taught by your mom? Well, look at your mom. Does your mom have what you want? Does your mom have the loving relationship that you want to experience? Is your mom living in your desired outcome? If she is, maybe you can listen. If she's not, listen to someone who is. Right? Just because it was taught by our mom, we're adults now. Right? Our moms did the best that they could with the information they had at the time. But as adults, it's your life now. You don't have to do what she said. You don't have to follow that. You get to decide. Y'all, don't get me off on a tangent. Okay. All right. I'm glad that helped. All right. So let's get to my third and final point. Feminine exchange, which is trademarked, it's my term, is the antidote to the masculine mask. Right? So let me be very clear. I know femininity gets a bad rap, right? It gets this whole, you're weak, you don't have an opinion, you're all of these things. I hope my mere existence changes that, right? Because I'm not the typical poster child for femininity, right? I am very opinionated. I'm not always in pink, although I do like it now. Right? I'm not always in the frilly dresses and the whatever. Right? I'm not the cookie cutter, what society normally deems as feminine. But I'm very feminine. And feminine is my default because I have trained myself this way. Right? It wasn't how I was operating for many years in my life. I have found my feminine and made it my default. And that's why I teach it and why I can support other women who are usually strong-willed, opinionated, have strong personalities. I help them still keep that. You don't have to now just be this little quiet church mouse. No, but I teach like strategic femininity. Learn where things are appropriate, right? Learn how to shapeshift. Okay. So you don't have to dumb down or shrink to be in your feminine. Let's be very clear about that. You just have to learn how to lead with appreciation, softness, vulnerability, and presence, right? The exact things that activate a keeper's desire to protect and provide, right? So, what's my scripture to back this up? Proverbs, my favorite book in the Bible, 31, verse 26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. This is the word of God here, right? Feminine power doesn't sound loud. It sounds wise. It's soft. It's intentional, right? And this is the art of the feminine exchange, right? Now, I see a comment. Hold on. Okay, so Keisha said, no, she didn't. So that's the problem. Being taught to not wait on a man has been embedded into my mindset. Well, stop reinforcing that, right? You can change that. You control your mind. Your mind doesn't control you. That's one of the first shifts I teach my Kepties, right? And even with my kids at night, we say affirmations before they go to sleep so it can get all in their psyche. I control my mind. I control my thoughts. I can change them if it's not what I want. My kids are 7 and 8. They have it memorized. They say it and they put it into action. I would recommend you do the same. You control your mind. You tell your mind, I don't have that mindset anymore. I am a woman who invites leadership from a worthy man. I create space for men to show up and provide for me. That's what I identify with now, right? So statistically, a Gottman Institute study showed that men in high satisfaction marriages, so these men aren't married under duress. These aren't the men that hate their wives. These are the men that love their wives, right? They worship the ground they walk on, okay? Repeatedly referenced their wife's softness, respect, and emotional intelligence as reasons for staying deeply connected. So they didn't say nothing about what she was earning, what she was accomplishing, what she was cooking, what she was cleaning. Nothing about that. They talked all about her femininity, all about her presence, her softness, how she respects him. All of the things that I teach you all when I teach about feminine currency. Okay? So please know, it's not your resume that's going to keep him. It's going to be your radiance, your presence. Okay? So what's our Kepti lens? And our Kepti lens is the mindset and perspective shift necessary for you to align with what I'm teaching today. Here's what we know in the Kepti verse, okay? Masculinity isn't just about what you do. It's actually about how you present. So common hers, the common women, thinking common things, saying common things, doing common things, getting common results, right? They're out there trying to be the boss, right? And they want to be, they want to be the backup quarterback. That's what they want, right? They mistake control for protection. They think they're safe because they're controlling things. They call micromanaging standards, right? And then they wonder why keepers aren't choosing them, why they continue to have lackluster and low-level dating experiences. Not my Kepties. No, my Kepties know that the real flex is being rested enough to receive, right? We don't lead in relationships here. We inspire leadership. We don't compete with our men. We complement our men. So if you're wearing a masculine mask, it's not a character flaw. Let me just say that. It's actually a coping mechanism. But it's time to take it off, okay? Because I want you to live the kept life, right? And in doing so, you need to prepare for a keeper. And you do this by letting go of the pressure to do it all. Let that go. And instead, you start becoming the woman who attracts it all with ease. So that's our lens here, right? And every week, in accompaniment to the lesson, I have what is called the Kepti consideration. And I give you specific questions and journal prompts for you to self-reflect on the lesson and really get to the core. Now, these questions are available exclusively to my subscribers on Facebook. So if you want access to these weekly journal prompts that help you get to the core of these lessons, subscribe to my Facebook page. Excuse me. Go to Facebook. It's Destination Deanna. Everything is the same all across platforms. And it's a mere 99 cents. because it's not about the money, but it is about you activating by investing, right? Now, I wouldn't be the kept wife strategist if I didn't give you a strategy, right? I'm not just going to talk about what the issue is and, shine light on it. I'm going to give you a strategy. And this strategy is to help you put this lesson into play now, to shift your perspective now, to make the changes now. So I'm going to start with my already marrieds, because I know I have quite a few women who are wives already, but they may not be experiencing captivity to the level they'd like, or they just want to show up more feminine in their marriage and make it more loving and more robust. So let's go ahead and get to the practical tips for you, right? For those who are already married, excuse me, I need to take a sip. My throat, excuse me. I have 3 things for my already marrieds. And for those of you who are single and preparing, just hold tight because I have a strategy for you next. For my already marrieds, the first thing is identify areas in your marriage where you've taken control out of fear. That's the first part, right? Identify areas in your marriage where you've taken control out of fear and start replacing it with trust, collaboration, and communication. So start small with this, right? Go at the level in which you're comfortable. The next thing, practice appreciation before instruction, right? Let him feel successful in your presence instead of managed. Okay. And the third thing, allow space for your husband to initiate, provide, and protect without you jumping in to do it first. So that's for my already marrieds. And I see I have a comment. Hold on. Oh, hold on 1 second. I think that is Cheryl. Hi, I'm glad you tuned in. All right, so that was a strategy for my already marrieds. Now, for those who are dating, those who are preparing for marriage, here is your strategy. First, we want to start noticing how you speak, move, and relate. Okay? You want to start noticing this. And I want you to pay attention. Like, do you soften into conversations or do you dominate them? Second thing, shift from masculine qualifiers, right? Stop talking about what you do to feminine presence, how you show up. And third, prioritize environments and mentorship that reinforce your receiving energy over your performance energy, right? So you want to lean into leadership that talks about femininity, that talks about your essence, your presence, your being, not so task oriented. Okay. Now, here's my Kepti recommendation, right? Recommendation, invitation, all of the above, right? Because I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell, right? But I do make invitations. So I make invitations and recommendations for things that will aid you in achieving your next level, arriving at your next level. And I want you to do it with less stress, right? With less back and forth, less bumps in the road. I want you to do it quicker and with ease. So I make myself available to support you, right? So if this message today kind of hit a little too close to home, right? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It actually means that you're ready to shift. You're ready for something else. So I want you to do one of 2 things, right? Here's my 2 recommendations. You can either book a guidance call with me so we can map out your exact blocks and build a customized strategy for you that's going to align with your femininity, your faith, and your future marriage. I want to assist you with that. Or if you're a little bit further along, you're like, I'm already moving. I need some deep level activation, right? I need to be inspired. I need to be in captivity to know that it's possible. Well, it's time to practice, not just process, right? So you can join me at my next available Kept Wife experience right here in Dallas. You get to spend 3 days with me, right? You fly in on Thursday. We have a little meet and greet. Then all day Friday, after you're well rested, because you go to bed early, you're well rested. You spend the entire day with me on Friday. We wake up, we have breakfast together, we go to the spa. I teach lessons all day long. You're just in the energy. I'm providing everything for you. The meals, the activity, all you have to do is show up and receive, right? And then on Saturday, we bid farewell. You go back activated, right? And this in-person reset literally helps you release your masculine mask, right? It's going to help you rest in your feminine essence, and it's going to prepare you for love with the energy that attracts keepers, right? So go to destinationdiana.com, click on the top banner. You will get all of the information there. And today is the final day to take advantage of my special offer, which I am never doing again. God already told me I'm never doing this again. It is 30% off until midnight tonight. So if I were you, I would click on that banner. I would secure my space. There's only 4 spaces left. It's an intimate gathering. It's not a group thing, right? You are with me in close proximity. You meet my husband, okay? Tell me what other coaches is doing that. I don't know none. But anyway, in closing, you can't pray for a provider and show up like his competition. I want you to take the mask off, soften your stance, and let the right man see you. Okay? So please remember, kept wives are prepared women. And prepared women have a strategy. Now, if you want the winning strategy, come to me, the Kept Wife Strategist. All right. I'll see you all next week, Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, for the next episode of Sounds About Wife. I love you all. Have a great day.